Greetings, ladies and gents, and welcome to Katie Ketchum's Dream Portal Studio. I, Sir Taylor Rain, shall be your guide on our journey back in time. Read on mark. Now, to begin tonight's performance, we shall start with the impressions of Mary Cassatt, the American painter. Next, we will take you to Clara Schumann, 19th century pianist. Clara Schumann, wife of the famous Robert Schumann. And the third, the story of love between Jesus and Mary Magdalene, told through the eyes of rockabilly singer Marlene. Now at this time I would like to please remind you to turn off all electronic devices from the future, as they will impede us from traveling to the past. As for tonight's first performance, born in Allegheny City, Pennsylvania, Mary Stevenson Cassatt decided to start her career in Chicago. She studied art at the Pennsylvania Academy of Fine Art in Philadelphia and in New York. After losing much of her work in the Great Chicago Fire of 1871, Cassatt decided to restart her career in Paris. She befriended Edgar Degas and was invited to exhibit with the Impressionist painters which she sponsored. Highly influenced by Japanese prints, Cassatt integrated new techniques in the medium of aquatint. Her bold colors, coupled with her unconventional composition and courageous nature, resulted in a prolific collection of fine art. Her paintings captured the essence of the Victorian woman and her relationship with the 19th century world. Despite strict gender roles and social structure, Cassatt ultimately attained financial and artistic success. Impressions of Mary Cassatt, the American painter, takes place in the year 1914 at Cassatt's home in France. She is 70 years old and at the end of an illustrious career as painter and printmaker. The phone rings, disturbing Cassatt from a sound sleep. The French authorities are asking Madame Cassatt to evacuate her home as the German army is occupying France. As she hangs up the phone, Cassatt reminisces about her troubled life while her chauffeur, Almond, helps wrap her paintings in newsprint to stow away until her return from southern France. And that, my dear friends, is where our story begins.
Who could be calling at this hour? Oh. Hello? Yes, this is Mary Cassatt. What? The German army is down the road? You want me to evacuate? You think my life is in danger? Isn't everyone's? This great war is of the government of men alone. President Wilson is the culprit. When a man thinks he's divinely inspired to govern the world, he ought to be in an asylum. That syphilitic son of a... How am I going to leave this place? Tolstoy, Cézanne were right. One should live without luxury. So many memories. Oh. Toddy! Armand! Toddy isn't here. She's been detained in Germany. Just because she's German, she's been my maid for 40 years. She's not going to hurt anyone. Armand, please come. Get all the paintings and wrap them in newspaper and put them in the woodshed. Hopefully they'll be safe until we return. Oh, this is my painting easel when I was a child. Oh, I love to paint. My father said he would rather see me dead than be an artist. All he wanted me to do was to go to tea parties where all they talk about are babies and husbands and their latest cake recipe. I just wanted to paint. And so instead of marrying a person, I married my art. To see a face, to paint it, to hear a song, to sing it, and when you know you have to see it grow. To travel on, to be there, to look around, to find it, and then you'll see the love that you have shown. Children in the flowers, lilies on the pond, faces lost and gone. Dancing girls and matadors, loving strokes upon the canvas. To paint a man, to love him, to catch a dream, to live it, and then they'll see my love for them is children in the flowers, lilies on the pond, faces lost and gone, dancing girls and matadors, my love will show even when I'm gone. Oh, this is the statue that I drew from at the Pennsylvania Academy of Fine Arts. It was a good school, but they had us draw from live cows rather than live nude models. Just lead old Jersey into the class, watch out for the cow pies, don't move too much. Now we'd like to have a nice Mona Lisa smile. Next they'll be having us draw from cow manure. After I graduated from the Pennsylvania Academy of Fine Arts, I went to Italy. I studied etching. Oh, the Italians were amused watching me climb ladders to study frescoes in dimly lit cathedrals. And I couldn't speak Italian. I was so lonely. And then I went to Spain, and the Franco-Prussian War broke out. So I had to leave, come back to America, and I decided to start my career in Chicago. But a horrible fire burned all my paintings, and I barely escaped with my clothes. Then I decided, I've tried almost everywhere. Maybe I'll go to Paris, the art capital of the world. In Paris, the way to be accepted is to be accepted into the salon. So I gave them a painting, and they said the background was too bright. So I dulled it up a bit, changed it, and they accepted it. It's very difficult having to change your art to be accepted. When I got to Paris, I noticed there was a new kind of art. And there was a group of men. Some wore beards, some didn't bathe, and they told dirty jokes. Hardly the proper group for ladies such as myself to be a part of. But I definitely felt part of them. And I remember seeing one of them outside the cafe when I arrived. We are the independent artists. The Impressionists, to coin a phrase. What's our problem? The Salon, the Hutsy-Totsy Gallery here in Paris has stopped showing our paintings. Does that hurt our feelings? No. It just makes the public not want to buy our paintings. So we starve. And why doesn't the Salon want to have our paintings, you might ask? Because we might paint the snow blue instead of white. Or a woman's flesh with green and violet spots, which they say denotes the state of complete putrefaction of a corpse. Now that's quite unfair, wouldn't you say? Because when light flickers through the trees, doesn't snow have spots on it? And isn't a woman's flesh spotted when the light flickers through the trees? It's so, my friends. And who is the man who got us in all this trouble? Let's be real. Courbet said, I don't want paint another goddess who is dead, that's fine for some. Society. I prefer my ladies with a touch of impropriety. Now the salon does not agree. They don't want a painting that'll shock the ladies sipping tea. At all our paintings they laugh and they mock. They say we all are monkeys with a stolen painting box. A cartoon appeared in the newspaper of a pregnant woman being barred from our exhibition by police, lest her unborn child be marked by the experience. We'll meet Monet. Impressions of. He sails down a river while painting his lady love. He is so poor, like everyone. They even threw him out of the inn on his naked buns. Oh, there's Renoir, such a happy man. He loves to paint the ladies and speak in Parisian slang. People find us eccentric with our beards and our hair. We just want to paint our pictures out in the plain old air. Degas painted a scene from one of Emile Zola's novels, and it created quite a commotion because he had a woman and a man in the same bedroom with only a single bed, which made the dirty minds at the salon believe they were not married. Oh, shock! Degas said to them, but I would have furnished a marriage license with the painting. At the cafe, Nouvelle Athens, we all get together and talk about our friends, but the sweet dames do not attend. The picture on the ceiling surely does offend. It is a rat, and dead at that. Degas keeps his wit up and his ladies in the vat. Pizarro can teach a rock how to paint. Cézanne doesn't bathe and makes Manet faint. Bertha Morisot, the French woman impressionist, she has us over Thursday evenings. She once asked the symbolist poet Stéphane Mallarmé why instead of writing poems like L'après-midi d'enfant, he didn't try to write once for as if he were writing for his cook. But Stéphane replied, even if I wrote for my cook, I should write in no other way. And then Susie Valadin, she wears corsages of fresh carrots for her mule, sleeps with Eric Satie, the composer, poses in the nude for Renoir, and when someone asked her why she keeps a goat in her studio, she replied, to eat up my bad drawings. Now there's Cassatt, Mary, my dear. She's the American painter who joined us last year. She has such class, a brilliant mind. How she could think this eccentric crew was such a wonderful find. She rides a horse, like Buffalo Bill. She has splendid brushwork, but her French is stranger still. Renoir says she carries her easel like a man. Her paintings have charm but power. So says Gauguin. Oh, this is the bustled dress that I wore when I met Degas. I can't believe I fit into it. I remember he came to my studio and I told him that he was someone who thinks as I do about art. Comment-allez-vous? Oh, I would love to join you and your friends who are showing independently from the salon and having their own shows. Oh, thank you. Oh, I accepted his invitation with joy. Now I could paint with absolute independence. I used to go and flatten my nose against that window and absorb all I could of his art. It changed my life. I saw art then as I wanted to see it. I eat what I want, see how I want. I am free. want. I am free. Be what I want, do what I want. To be me. Paint what I want. Be what I want. To be me. Armand, I hope you come soon. We need to leave. I can hear them. But what are these? These are more paintings. Oh, I've forgotten what they are. Oh, this is one of my paintings of the children at the beach. I used the village children as models. I had them thoroughly deloused first. Oh, and my dresses. I had the mothers wear my gowns. Oh, yes! This is a painting that I painted with Edgar. We worked on it together. This is his niece. She wasn't very happy during this sitting. And the dog, Edgar bought that for me after mine had died. And he painted this beautiful light from the farther window. Oh, here's a letter from Mother. May 1st, 1877. Dear Mary, your mother knows how lonely you must be in Paris. So Father, your sister, and I have decided it would be a delightful idea if we moved to Paris and shared an apartment with you. I am so looking forward to going abroad again, and your loving sister Lydia has enjoyed her visits there with you. I'm so worried about her. She hasn't been feeling well lately, and I do wish your brother Alex would give up betting. Oh my. I know you are intent on fame and money in the art field, but I do hope you have more luck than you do riding your horses. Thank you, Mother. After all, a woman who is not married is lucky if she has a decided love for work of any kind, and the more absorbing the better. As to your nephew Robbie's curls, I would want to keep him pretty a year longer. I wouldn't have the courage to cut them off. I have taken an interest in racing. I read about it the moment the paper arrives. Father read Tolstoy's War and Peace, as you suggested. He didn't care for it and wonders why you like Tolstoy so much. I hope you are keeping your actions suitable to those of a proper young woman. We will be arriving to live with you September 3rd. Oh, I remember when they first came, I was very upset because I needed to see Degas every day to learn. And my father was a stockbroker, and he didn't really think that art was a man's work, or a woman's work, for that matter. They were so boring. All they talked about were health, horses, and children. Health, horses, and children. That's what their lives are for. They think, what's a strange notion? All this art devotion. Why don't they leave me alone? Mama thinks all paintings are a waste of precious dough. Papa rides his horses and makes sure and critiques my bows. Health, horses, and children. Health, horses, and children. That's what their lives are for. I'm the one they annoy. War and Peace, and Papa hates Tolstoy. Why don't they leave me alone? Health, grandson should keep his pretty curls. Sister does her knitting and makes sure her stitches purl. Help horses and children, help horses and children. That's what their lives are for. All the wrath I am catching, leave me alone to do my etching. Why don't they leave me alone? Why don't they leave me alone? Well, it turned out that Lydia, because she was so ill, she sat for me for hours, and she became one of my favorite models. I miss her. Watercolor memories on my mind. Memories slip away on passing time. But you've got to keep on living. Got to fulfill your dream before you die. Sit and look at life right in the eyes. Love just lasts so long and then it dies. And you won't live forever, and neither will your dreams, they both must die. Sit and look at me right in the eyes. I'll only last a while, and then I'll die. We've got to keep on living. We've got to fulfill our dreams before they die. Watercolor memories on my mind. But memories slip away on passing time. Oh, this was a portrait I drew of my nephew, Gardner. He spit in my face that day, I remember. Oh, and Ellen Mary, I did a study of her. First thing she did when she came to Beaufresno was to fall into the pond. The pond was stocked with California trout. I had him sent specially from California. Oh, here's one of my aqua tints. Ever since Commodore Perry came through Yedo Harbor in Japan, he brought us the most outstanding examples of Japanese art. Hiroshige, Hokusai, and I developed my own methods, and the artists in New York saw my work and they wrote to me and asked for my special techniques. I had a huge show there with the other independent artists, the Impressionists, and then a solo show, and we all became very wealthy after those shows. It was very sad. After that, we stopped meeting together. I remember remember in this very living room, the Prime Minister of France. We used to argue, was here, and we used to argue about the Boer War in Africa, religion and government, realism and art, of course, and Edgar Degas was here, and and Clemenceau, he loved listening to himself write. He wrote, Monet was born, palette in hand, and conceived living merely as standing before a canvas upon which to inscribe the flux of luminous energy, silent each morning before his pond. Well, I told him, I thought that Monet's water lilies were glorified wallpaper to me. You can imagine the arguments. I have cataracts now. I can barely see. Renoir is painting the most ridiculous studies of very fat red women with very small heads. And Degas, he has taken to following funerals wearing a green bowler hat. We die by inches. How can I leave this place? The memories. Summer's sweet, green fields of clover, honey melon, ripe on the vine, blue skies outside my window, sun bright and warm. But I'll never pick flowers in spring again. But I'll never pick flowers in spring. Autumn leaves, scarlet and golden, frost touching hillsides below. Birds wing southward for winter, skies clear and cold. But I'll never pick flowers in spring again. But I'll never pick flowers in spring. May winds sweet talk the treetops. My red rose, it garlands the hills. Birds sing outside my window, sun bright and warm. But I'll never pick flowers in spring again. But I'll never pick flowers in spring. Armand, get the car. We must leave now.
What a splendid way to begin tonight's performance. We shall now be moving on to part 2, Clara Schumann, 19th century pianist. I will first be sharing with you a poem written as a prologue to today's play by Chicago poet Curtis Taylor, who was a poetry student of Katie Ketchum's father at Humber College in Toronto, Canada. A beginning, an ending, Are they both in the same drop of time? Does this liquid flow over our celebrities? Has it all been here before? Clara Schumann booked herself as Clara Wieck. She was the most famous pianist, save Liszt. She drew the largest crowds in Europe. Clara made Vienna bring out the police for crowd control. This fame is why you are here, to be her biographer. Her marriage to Robert Schumann was romantic and filled with children. It was a marriage of two times in music. Robert, one of the early romantics. Clara, a classicist in piano artistry. Two people, one drop of time. They adopted Brahms. They all had tea in the garden. One giant musical family. However, Robert's illness was Clara's sadness. The crushing and relentless cycle of a broken brain left Robert with angel and demon visitations and a constant A ringing in his ear. He died in an asylum, and Clara fought to immortalize him. Victorian, dressed in black, prolific and tough. As biographers, you can do more than glorify. You can clarify. Clara has glory, but she would like less myth, more fact. Clara Schumann, whose inner modern woman found individuality through music, lives through the ages with her husband Robert. Two people, one drop of time. Clara Schumann, 19th century pianist, takes place in the year 1892 at Miss Schumann's home in Frankfurt, Germany. She is 73 years old, at the end of an illustrious concert career, and has hired a biographer to write her life story. You, the audience, are the biographers. Miss Schumann will be sharing with you her life story and occasionally ask you a question. But she is upset because her nephew, Alfred, scandalously published a book asserting that Johannes Brahms was the father of her last child. Her devotion and indeed lifelong mission to elevate husband Robert's legacy is on full display. She wears black, as in mourning, even more than 35 years after Robert's death in an asylum. She's often called the priestess because she devotes her life to playing and editing her husband's music. She lives with daughter Marie and grandson Ferdinand. After Clara Schumann, we will have a 20-minute intermission when you may serve yourselves drinks and food as accordingly. Now, without further ado, I would like to please introduce you to the stage, Clara Schumann, 19th century pianist.
Marie? I will get it. I will get the door. Don't worry, they can wait. Get the coffee for our guest. I will be there. Hello. Treten Sie ein. Welcome. Thank you for coming. Thank you so much for coming. I so appreciate it. Now, I will get straight to the point. I want you to write a proper biography about me because my nephew, he has written a book saying that my last child is conceived with Johannes Brahms instead of my husband, Robert Schumann. I have spent my entire life promoting my husband's work and promoting my playing as a pianist, and this is very upsetting. You have to do something. I do have some things for you to look at. Hold on, just 1 second. have a box here, and I will show you some things that you will like, and you can put in your book. Oh, here are my darling children's clothes. Oh. So many of them died. I had 8 children. And then 2 died immediately, and then others have died too. Ludwig is still alive, but he's in the mental hospital. Oh, look at Julie's little dress. Oh, and Elise, she married a nice Italian man. Yes. And Eugenie, she is a famous musician in America. Yes. Felix was so talented, but he died of tuberculosis at 24. My poor children. Oh, here is music by my husband. And I had this publication made with his picture on it. Oh, you would like to hear something? Yes. Of course. I will play. This is a piece that he wrote for the children. He wrote many pieces for our children. What do you mean? It sounds like a tortured man. My Robert died from overwork. That is what the doctor said. Yes, he had to go to the mental hospital, but where did you hear that he wrote music from angels speaking? Where do you have these stories? I did not save him from the Rhine River when he jumped in. It was a fisherman. Now, I do not want this in the biography, but I do want you to know personally that it was very difficult. There was a demonic quality to his paranoia. It was very difficult for the children and die, but I want you only to write the good things. Yes. Oh, this will prove that Robert and I loved each other. This is one of the many letters that he sent to me. June 22nd, 1830. Dear Clara, with roses and acacias in full splendor, and you, my love, in the full bloom of your loveliness, I am indeed the most favored of mortals, overwhelmed with happiness, half smothered under the load of blossoms. You, dear girl, I can really believe now that you love me in earnest. I wonder how you looked when you signed your name. Did not every part of you tremble except the hand which grasped the pen firmly? Come and let me press you to my heart. You, my love, my everything. Let me kiss your brow, your eyelids, child, as I pray for your lasting happiness. Yours, Robert. You see? because my father would not let me marry him. I think that he wouldn't let me marry him because I had been supporting my father's household since I was 13 years old, playing the piano all over Europe. Robert was his piano student and he lived with us, and every night my brothers and I, we went to his bedroom and we played. He provided the only joy we knew. I was just a little girl. He was much older than me. I was so upset. My father could be so harsh, but he was very proud of my piano playing. He loved to quote Goethe. Goethe said, "Clara plays with the strength of 6 boys." He gave me a wonderful life. That is true. And, whoa. I must tell you about this. Robert was the conductor of the Dusseldorf Orchestra. But they were very upset with him because every time he conducted, the baton would fling across the room. So here's what I did. I put a ribbon on it, and then he could put it around, and it would stay. You see the wonderful fun times we had. We had wonderful times. It was not all what you're writing about, what you're trying to say. We had a lot of enjoyment in our lives. Oh, this is a piece that I wrote, yes. Oh no, I am not a composer, oh no. Robert and Brahms, they composed volumes with children and concert touring. I did not have time to be as prolific, but I may not be a prolific composer, but you could say that I was the world's greatest muse. Right. Would you like to hear this?
Absolutely.
It's called Mazurka. Oh, I remember when I played this piece. You know, I was awarded the highest award in Austria. And that day I gave that concert. I stepped out of the carriage, and there was a frenzy. They had to call the police. And I was wearing my silk taffeta gown with embroidered sleeves. But ever since Robert passed, I've been wearing black. Oh, anyway, I was very nervous, and I walked across the stage and I played my heart out. And then I received 13 encores. And then the Emperor of Austria, he walks out and he awards me the greatest award, which was quite a puzzlement because I was a woman, I was not Austrian, I was German, and I was a Lutheran. It is nothing. It is nothing you should be concerned about. It's just a letter. Yes, it is from Brahms. All right, I'll read it. There's nothing to hide. My beloved friend Clara, I have been diligently playing and reading the whole day and thinking of you the whole time, and now I will quietly tell you all about it. I am always thinking of you. For a long while I have not thought of anyone so tenderly and incessantly as I have of you. No. Brahms can be so harsh. No, it is nothing. It is nothing at all. Yes, it is a piece. It is a piano piece that Brahms wrote for my birthday. That's all. Okay, I'll play some of it. I'm sure you will see there is nothing to suggest that we had a child together. There is nothing to gain from that. Oh, here is a song that Robert wrote for our wedding. Widmung. I will read the English for you. You, my soul, you, my heart, you, my bliss, oh, you, my pain, you, my world in which I live, my heaven, you, to which I float. O you, my grave, into which my grief forever I am consigned. You are repose, you are peace, you are bestowed on me from heaven. Your love for me gives me worth. Your eyes transfigure me in mine. Lovingly you raise me above myself, my good spirit, my better self. Well, I'd love to sing this for you, but I'm not really a singer, you know. Well, I will give you an idea. Yes. It is a beautiful piece when, you know, people have sang it in concert, etc. And my eyesight, oh.
Tree
months pregnant when Robert went into the asylum. What? You think that Robert and I decided that I should procreate with Brahms because of his musical genius? Where do you hear these stories? No. Robert and Brahms were not lovers. I have had enough today. Please return with your first draft. Auf Wiedersehen.
Alright, let's take an intermission.
Okay.
Hey y'all, thank y'all for coming tonight. Now, we're gonna get started with the last part of tonight's performance, the story of love between Jesus and Mary Magdalene, told through the eyes of rockabilly singer Marlene. Alright, now before we get started, I'm gonna transport us to the basement of an old church. It worked! We're here! Okay. Anyway, this play is inspired by the Gospel of Mary Magdalene, a document found in Egypt about 100 years ago, in which Jesus asks Mary Magdalene to take care of the disciples after he dies. Now, as the playwright, Katie Ketchum has formed Mary Magdalene through the use of a 1950s rockabilly singer stepping into the shoes of their beloved leader Joe after he died. She deals with conflicts among other band members just as Mary Magdalene dealt with conflicts with Peter and the other disciples in the Gospel of Mary Magdalene. Now, the Gospel is considered a heretical document not included in the Christian Bible. Alright, now at night, Marlene has dreams about Mary Magdalene in the context of her many stories, including the Jewish follower of Jesus, the bride and widow of Christ, who moved to France after his crucifixion, the initiate of the Egyptian goddess Isis, and even Mary Magdalene the prostitute. Now, before we get started, I'd like to read you a poem by the lady who brought me into this world, Joselle McDowell. There are many paths to heaven in this world. Doesn't matter where you hang your heaven, as there are many paths to heaven in this world. Pure heart, pure thought, pure deed and courage. There are many paths to heaven in this world. We have this life, let's not live it in strife. For there are many paths to heaven in this world. Pure heart, pure love, pure strength and devotion. There are many paths to heaven in this world. Whatever your devotion, when you do it with love's emotion, there will be many paths to heaven in this world. Now let's give a round of applause for Marlene.
Well, hi! I didn't see you come in. Howdy! Hey, welcome, welcome. You know, this is my sister Martha's church upstairs, and right here, this is her church underneath. Yeah, we're in the basement. That's right. This is where it all began. This is where the band practiced before they went on their world tour. That's right. Oh, excuse me. I didn't even introduce myself. How rude. My name is Marlene. M-A-R for Mary. Lean. You know, kind of like that lady in the Bible, Marlene. Magdalene. Here I am rewriting the Bible already. My goodness. So anyway, I was born in the Journey's End Trailer Park in Oklahoma City. That's right. And my favorite food is macaroni and cheese. So I just thought, you know, build a little rapport because we're going to have fun. We're going to have fun. And you know what? It all started with, well, this wasn't the beginning of this, but this is a relic. This here is a relic. That's right. This is the very Coke bottle that the leader of our band, Joe, drank from the night before he died. And he had a sip of this Coke, and then he said, every time you have a sip of Coke, think of my blood. Well, that turned my stomach, and I couldn't even finish my pizza. That's right. So, anyway, it all started in this bar. Of course, you know, if you knew me, that's where it all starts, you know, in the bar. And this guy, I mean, he came up to me. Now, he wasn't your basic cowboy type, you know. Well, I mean, when you see one of them cowboy types, it's like rope him and brand him. That's what you're expecting. But this guy was different. I mean, when he looked at you, he kind of looked right through me. He looked right through me. And I kept going to the bar, drinking my Jack Daniels, and things started to change. I mean, I started drinking less Jack Daniels. I started, what else did I do? I started not wanting what everyone else had. I started eating less. I stopped sleeping with, you know, so many men. I really don't want to share that information, but it's, you know, it's part of the story. And I don't know, there was something about that guy that just changed me. And then one day, he asked me to be part of his band. That's right. Now, the lead guitar player, he was mad. Pete, he was jealous because he, you know, he thought Joe and him were like this, and then I come along, I bust up the party. But, you know, I wanted to tell you, you know, I was talking about that, how I didn't eat, you know, I stopped eating and didn't want what everyone else had and all that. Do you know, I was reading in the newspaper the other day that the Catholic Church has added 3 sins to the 7 deadly sins they already got. Let me see if I can remember them. It was, do not clone, do not get high, and do not pollute. And I can tell you, friends, I ain't done none of them things. That's right. So, anyway, what happened is Joe, he died, and he told me that I was the leader of the band. Well, Pete wasn't too happy about that. He didn't want to admit it. So we had a really hard time. Anyway, I'd like to sing for you this song that Joe wrote after he died, and it explains what happened to him after he died. Well, I walked right through the gates of hell. The devil was waiting, and I knew darn well no one ever left this place alive. I knew I could do it. I could survive. Let's party. Let's party. Bring out the water. We'll turn it into wine. Let's party. The devil was waiting for me to come down. I sneaked past the gates without a sound. By the time he knew I had been there, I was flying up to heaven in midair. Let's party. Let's party. Bring out the water, we'll turn it into wine, let's party. Before all had went to heaven, I had one stop to make. Back on earth where coffee'd break. Hugged the lady I love so well. She helped me break through the gates of hell. Let's party. Let's party. Bring out the water, we'll turn it into wine. Let's party. I knew I'd done good while I was alive. I did not judge or compromise. I shook hands with a man at the pearly gates. When the devil turned around, it was just too late. Let's party. Let's party. Bring out the water, we'll turn it into wine. Let's party. We'll bring out the water, we'll turn it into wine. Let's party. Well, I'm telling you, Pete, he thought I was lying. And he asked me why Joe would talk to a woman instead of him. Whoa, he didn't believe that I saw Joe after he died. Well, I have news for him. Joe even wrote another song, and I'm going to sing it with you. Here we go. We are united, together with good, dancing with the spirit, just like we should, being in harmony. Well, we sure weren't in harmony, I'm telling you that. And peace, we are united. Now, this is one of them songs that is a call and response. And you know what? You may want to sing it because you may want to go on tour with me. That's right. So it goes like this. Just like a stream, flowing through my soul, Spirit flow through me, Spirit I know, just like a light, so bright, Spirit flow through me, Oh, and here we go. Just like a stream, flowing through my soul, Spirit flow through me, Spirit I know, just like a light, so bright, Spirit flow through me, just like a light, so bright, Spirit flow through me. Well, you sounded good, I'm telling you. You better get ready. You better get your suitcase packed. Oh, look at this. I found a letter that Joe wrote to me during that tour that we were on when he was still alive. Dear Marlene, my dove, my rose, I liken you, my darling, to a mare harnessed to one of the chariots of Pharaoh.
Whoa.
Your cheeks are beautiful, with earrings, your neck with strings of pearls, like a lily among the thorns, my darling, among the maidens. Your neck is like an ivory tower. Your hair is like royal tapestry. The king is held captive by its tresses. Love, Joe. I'm telling you, that guy had a way with words. But I hate to let you down. I think he copied this from the Bible. He surely did. Well, on that tour, I kept getting this visitation. And it turned out it was Mary Magdalene. But she came first as a Mary Magdalene from the Bible. Evenu shalom alechem, Evenu shalom alechem, Evenu shalom alechem, Evenu shalom, shalom alechem. Hey! Oh, my Rabbi, he take devils out of me. Oh. My Rabbi treats me like human being, not like woman. He invites me to walk with him. I am equal. I walk with him and his mama. We walk from Great Sea. We walk to Salt Sea. We cook for him and the disciples, and we do their laundry. They have a lot of laundry. Anyway, people, they try to touch his dress, and when they do, if they are blind, they can see. If they can't walk and they touch his dress, they can walk. He walk on water. Oh, my Rabbi. Then they take him. They put him on a tree and they kill him. He is like a last lamb. He is like a lamb. And he dies. And he dies for my wrong things. I go to the death room. He is gone. An angel appears and the earth shakes. I hear the gardener speaking. But it is not the gardener. It is my Rabbi. He tells me to go tell his brothers that he is alive again. I go. I tell the brothers. They do not believe me. Ebenu shalom alechem. Ebenu shalom alechem. Ebenu shalom alechem. Ebenu shalom, shalom, shalom alechem. Well, we had another rehearsal for that tour, and there was a great song that we were rehearsing. It's not a call and response, but you are welcome anytime to sing along. Drink the water from the river of life. Drink that water from the river of life. You step on the water, gonna make you feel alright. Love each other in the river of life. Love each other in the river of life. You're gonna step on the water, gonna make you feel alright. Sing with your neighbor in the river of life. Sing with your neighbor in the river of life. You're gonna step out in the water, gonna make you feel alright. You're gonna step out in the water, gonna make you feel alright. I'm telling you, Pete was so jealous. I wasn't sure we'd ever get on that tour. He would storm out of so many rehearsals. Just storm right out. But every night, just like clockwork, Mary Magdalene appeared to me. And the next night, she appeared to me as the Magdalene who was married to Jesus and took a boat to France. They have killed my husband. Is it too much for the God-man to have a child? I am rowing to France. There we will be taken care of by the angels. And my baby, my holy grail, will be safe. I have had nothing to eat, and all I can think about is the wine that he turned from water at our wedding. I can smell the spikenard that I rubbed his feet with before they took him. Take my hand to your heart, touch your lips to mine, hold on, precious jewel, love of mine. Well, we had to get ready. Oh my goodness, I'm sorry, I left my curler in my hair. Well, it was a pretty exciting night. And the opening of our tour was in Fresno, California. That's right. Well, break that bread and never go hungry. Well, break that bread and never go hungry. Well, break that bread, never go hungry. Well, break that bread, never go hungry. Well, eat it and live forever. Well, move that mountain wherever you want to. 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 Well, move it from here to there. Well, knock that door and it will be open. Well, knock that door and it will be open. Well, knock that door, it will be open. Well, knock that door, it will be open. Well, sing it and you will find. Well, break that bread, never go hungry. 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 Well, sing it and you will find. Well, move that mountain wherever you want to. Well, move that mountain wherever you want to. Well, move that mountain wherever you want to. Well, you sound great. Move it from here to there. Well, knock at that door and it will be open. Well, knock that door and it will be open. Well, knock at that door, it will be open. Well, knock at that door, it will be open. Well, sing it and you will find. Well, seek it, and you will find. Thank you very much, Fresno, California. Well, of course, Magdalene kept visiting me. And I'm telling you, this Mary Magdalene I'd never heard of before. It was the initiate of the Egyptian goddess Isis. Oh, Isis, Isis, goddess with many faces, come to your temple, come to your shrine. Oh, Isis, Isis, goddess with many faces, come to our temple, come to our shrine. I'm Mary Magdalene, the initiate of the Egyptian goddess Isis. Isis asked me to go help Jesus break out of hell through the energies. Like snakes, we danced together. And in the ecstasy of our energy, he broke through the gates of hell. Woo! Now, I'd like you to really imagine this. Imagine that I had a cell phone and he had a cell phone, and we were speaking to each other. I was speaking to him in hell. I gave him all the mysteries the goddess Isis taught. When he died and went to hell, I think that he forgot. Because all he said was, "Get me out. Get me out." I dialed him on my cell phone and I asked him not to fear. All you have to do, dear, is pretend that I am near. But all he said was, "Get me out. Get me out." And then I asked the great goddess Isis if she would help us with this scary crisis. She told me what she did with her man Osiris. She made a member out of clay. He returned to life that day. Well, Jesus was not satisfied with anything I'd say. He was not Osiris, and he did not need the clay. He made that very clear. And all he said was, "Get me out. Get me out." And then I whispered softly, just between us, "It has to do with me and your Pete love. This energy you feel will free you." Then he burst through the gates of hell. He remembered how it went. Darn well. Well, I didn't get much sleep on that tour, I'm telling you. Because Mary Magdalene was coming every night and talking to me, and I was just, my brain was packed. I didn't know what to do. So then she came and visited me as Mary Magdalene the prostitute. Hi. I'm Mary Magdalene the prostitute. In the year 591, Pope Gregory made the mistake of calling me a prostitute in his sermon, and my name wasn't even in that passage in the Bible. For 1,400 years, I've been called a prostitute. How would you like to be on your back that long? I'm not comfortable in this position. For 1,400 years you kept me down. You threw away all my gospels. How could you take away my crown? How can you call it Christianity? Leaving out Christ's main amour. I want my place back, right by his side. This isn't working anymore. 2,000 years of slaughter in the name of Jesus Christ. This was not the game plan. You can take it from his wife. Pope Gregory, you were a saint. Gave all your money to the poor and wrote the Gregorian chant. In that sermon so long ago, why did you say I was a whore? 2,000 years of women in Christianity. treated like a doormat because of what you said about me. I'll forgive you like I was taught to, but I want something in return. In the future, I'm an equal. Burn, baby, burn! Who's that? Wait, who are you? Now listen, I did everything I could to help keep that band together. You think our songs helped people? I don't know. I don't know if songs can do anything. Hey, I have a question to ask you. Are you that gal? Did you marry? You know who I mean. Were you married? Yeah, I guess you're right. Don't matter. Just the love. Yeah, it's all about the love. Whoa! Joe, is that you? Now listen, don't worry, I'm not going to touch you. I don't go around touching ghosts and stuff anyway. You know, I'm really upset with you. You left me all alone with that band, and Pete drove me crazy. And then, where were you? I had to raise our daughter all by myself. What do you mean you were at her graduation? What? I never saw you there. Forgiveness? Don't talk to me about forgiveness. You're up there in La La Land. It's hard to forgive. I did my best. I did my best with that band. And Pete drove me crazy and you didn't help. I'd just like to know one thing. I'd like to know why you had to get up and die on me right in the middle of the tour. So you think that because you died, that your songs will be more famous and reach more people? Oh my goodness. I know I'm mad, Joe. But I'll tell you this, I miss you every day and I love you. You know that song we wrote together? You want to sing it? Hold me till I feel your touch. Hold me till I see who you are. Hold me till the fear goes away. Maybe I can try to stay, and I will wait for the love, and I won't run away this time, and I will wait for the love, and I won't run away this time. Hold me, and I'll touch you gently. Hold me, and I'll see who you are. Maybe we are both learning. Maybe we can both find our hearts. We'll wait for the love, and we will feel it someday. We'll wait for the love, and we will feel it someday. Taylor Rain. And Kimmy Fagundes and they're the most amazing crew I've ever worked with. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yay.